Hello, Doomers. I'm back again because I'm bored, and I decided to spend some time with the Doomers, or presumably mainly just talking to myself, as I am wont to do. Oh, look. It's, uh, hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that was an encouraging start. An encouraging start. Apologies for that. I should get a wireless headset. Yes. So this is yes, I'm bored, so I've decided to talk to the doomers again. I make these things essentially when I'm bored. That's the primary motivation. It's the kind of only motivation. On the plus side, my COVID seems to have gone. I didn't take a test, so I'm still only presuming that the headache and fever and respiratory symptoms were COVID. But it seemed to be kind of 1 or 2 days, and then I socially distanced throughout, so I don't think that there's any 96-year-old normies in hospital as a result of my COVID. Uh, Also, the neighbours, they're not making a lot of noise at the moment. There was a chap diligently power hosing his driveway very seriously a few hours ago, but he seems to have fucked off. Maybe he's watching Countdown or some other shit on the TV. Yeah, I just I have to stop splitting my attention to during these things. This is kind of checking stuff. But the normies are currently playing ball, and the COVID is also good, and my eyes are. Yeah, they're currently okay. What typically happens is I start the day fine, just reviewing stuff in the Doomosphere, chatting to the Doomers, uh, checking the big talking points of the day. That's fine. It's usually when I go outside, uh, as I'm wont to do. I'm not a shut-in, and I get cabin fever if I'm left to my own devices for any real duration of time. So I like to pop outside, usually, always. I go to one of the nature spots in the hellscape that I call home. And during my journey, I experience normies in all of their annoying splendor, and that's when uh, my face starts fuck acting. It's when I have to endure normies being normies. But I have talked about normies enough, so I don't really want to discuss our normal brothers and sisters again, but they are everywhere and they do cause my glitch more so than the collapse of everything. It's more enduring normies that triggers my little facial issue. So, yeah, I'll just give you an example. Just give you an example. Uh, so yesterday, I was in one of the nature spots, one of the nature reserves, left in the city where I live. It's on the outskirts, and amazingly, it was quiet. Uh, no, it was quiet for different reasons. It was quiet because there's fucking no birds anymore. So you don't have the bird song. And also, there's fuck all flying insects. So you don't have that lovely constant buzz that in the halcyon days we would associate with the summer. So it was quiet in that regard, but it was also quiet because, for whatever fucking reason, there were no normies, which is unusual, really unusual for there to be no fucking normies. So I was doing what I typically do. There was no normies, so I could avail of one of the benches in this nature spot. It's not a nature spot if there aren't benches. So I was sitting down on my bench, as I want to do. As a sort of with a uh, notebook, a wee little pen. I was writing in my notebook, looking down, enjoying the silence, enjoying the absence of normies. There's noise, enjoying the silence of the birds. That wasn't what I was enjoying. I was just kind of collecting my thoughts as I want to do, just scribbling. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention to anything because it was again very, very quiet. I didn't even hear the normie approach me. Uh, Usually you can, but I didn't hear him approach me and I didn't notice him because I was focused on what I was doing. I was writing, and that was my focus. And in general, I don't really notice normies unless they pose an immediate risk, or if I sense a threat, uh, which is rare, which is fucking rare. Word to the wise, it's very difficult to intimidate a doomer. Even the small ones, or just any of them, they don't care. They don't care. Oh no, oh no, this person's gonna do something bad to me. Okay, okay, fine, fine. I don't have weekend plans. Do you? Uh, anyway, so I was sitting down as I was writing away in silence and didn't see him coming. Didn't see fucking normie walk up, but then I heard him bellowing as he was walking past me. All's quiet on the Western Front, eh? Ah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm I'm quite good at giving peeps the disdainful look. You know, my father liked a sitcom about nerds, computer nerds. I forget the name of it, but it was about this little group, like the fucking Goonies, but they like computers and science. And he watched that. So when I visited his house, he'd have this fucking sitcom on. There was one character, and I forget the specifics, but he talked about a look of haughty derision, a look of haughty derision, and that's the kind of thing I'm good at. The old wee look of haughty derision, and that chap, Mister, it's all quiet on the Western Front. He got the look of haughty derision. He got fuck all else besides. And then he continued on, happy that he had disturbed me. That's the other thing. Oh, these fucking swine. I take that back. I take that back. Sorry, pigs, to associate your good name with fucking normies. But they're profoundly worried if they see someone uh, with a notebook or writing. If you write in the company or just in the presence of a normie, you can see it. They'll be distressed. They'll get distressed. They won't really know what you're doing. What's he doing? I think most of them think that I'm drawing. I'm drawing stuff. Drawing a unicorn. Or fucking doodling. Just doodling here. So yeah, I do. When they see you with a notebook, they definitely have to engage you then, because that level of concentration, it's just indecent to them. They can't comprehend it, and they must smash it through using their fucking mouth organ. Mm. I lost various notebooks over the years. Always a moment of amusement for me when I think of some, hopefully, old dear spots. Lovely little green notebook or a lovely yellow notebook or a lovely purple notebook. Oh, that's a lovely notebook. Oh, look, somebody has written inside the notebook. I wonder what they've written. Yeah, yeah. So that amuses me. Although I do write in shorthand, so it's presumably illegible. But they'll get little bits, little bits. Oh God. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, I'm actually supposed to be talking to you for a reason, or about something. I'm supposed to talk about a subject, and I can't always just be complaining about fucking normies. That wouldn't necessarily cut the mustard or uh, justify watching these rants. So I was thinking about talking about politics. Politics. But I don't think I'm gonna do that today. A lot of people seem very sensitive at the moment to all things political. So I don't think I'm going to enter that particular discourse today. Even though my background is politics and I'm more than qualified to discuss any aspect of politics, I don't want to draw out the true believers. I don't want to draw them out today because I find them withering. So we'll save that one. We'll save politics for another occasion. So, um, so yeah, we could talk about different things, but today I think that I want to just talk about something that is important. It's a question, and it's a question we must ask ourselves. And the question is quite simple. The question is, are peeps good? Are peeps good at heart? For those of you who don't have a lot of time, they're not. No. Hey, we can't preempt the conclusion. Who knows? Maybe they are. And it is. It's. Philosophers have been kind of asking the question since time immemorial. Are peeps good? We've been asking it ever since. So it is. It's still a legitimate philosophical inquiry in 2022. It is. Settle down in the front row. It is. I might surprise you. So, we have the anthropological optimists. They're the guys who think peeps are good. Yeah, peeps are decent, upstanding folk. Good. And then there's the anthropological pessimists. Yeah, peeps are bad. They're inclined towards the dark arts of evil. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this still legitimate question and see if we can stumble our way to some contingent answer. So, first things first, we know what peeps are. We know the peeps. Talking about human beings, human persons. So then we just have to kind of consider the good. Are they good? Maybe. What does that mean when we say, are they good? What does that mean? And this is not going to be a lecture. I don't have slides. I'm not going to review the history of ideas concerning different conceptions of the good. It sounds like work. Not doing that. I'm not including links to educational resources either. There's going to be no links in the description. So, what's good? And when you ask people, they usually, they get there eventually. It'll be something like, oh, what is good is what is of benefit, what produces benefits, what is beneficial. So then it becomes a sort of question of, do peeps behave in ways that are to their benefit. Do all those fuckers outside and the doomers, do we do things that are to our benefit? Uh, the eagle-eyed observers amongst you will probably see that I'm smoking somewhat coquettishly a cancer stick. So here's Ian smoking a cancer stick, which is not of benefit to me, but I do it. I do it. We can generalize this behavior, I think, in 2024, or at the very least say that what peeps think is in their benefit is actually the polar opposite, and they're doing things that are wildly destructive to themselves, their kith and kin, and the world at large. So we all knowingly do things that are not to our benefit. The Greeks had a nice word for this particular inclination. They called it akrasia. Akrasia is when you knowingly do something that's harmful to you, or etc. That's akrasia. And back in the day, back in Athens, enlightened Athens, a glorious slave state called Athens. There was that chap. We've all heard of Socrates, and Socrates essentially said he was thinking about akrasia and how we behave in ways that might not necessarily be to our benefit. And he said it's because we don't actually know the good, or we've misidentified the good. So his big thing was to know the good is to do the good. So you just need it explained to you by a philosopher, and then you go, oh, Jesus Christ, I didn't realize that. Sure, I think I'll go on the nicotine patches. So yeah, to know the good is to do the good. It's funny that though, in 2024, you couldn't really look around and go that people either know the good or do the good. Or, well, they do know the good, they don't do the good. Will I drive to the supermarket to purchase a Toblerone and a tin of beans? Of course I will. It's 5 minutes away, but I'm just gonna jump into my hydrocarbon behemoth pickup truck and drive to the supermarket. I know what's good. I know I should probably stretch the old legs, but couldn't be arsed. So very difficult to say that knowledge is sufficient to compel human agents to act in ways that are to their benefit, or to the benefit of others, or again, the world at large. Of course, when we talk about Socrates, we have to remember that everything we think we know about Socrates is just Plato, you know? He's just a character in Plato's dialogues. So we have to trust Plato. Trust Plato. The probably, arguably, the most self-interested philosopher in history. Don't know if you've ever read Plato. He he developed this idea of the republic, the ideal political unit, and he said it was all based on specialization, where we all, did very specialized tasks. Usually, the shit our father did. So, if my father was a cobbler, I'd be a cobbler. That was kind of just society. And he split it into three. And he split society into three groups. Uh, the first group was the hoi polloi, the everyman, uh, or the economic class of producers and consumers. All appetite. So that was the majority of people. Then you had the guardian class. They were the ones, who basically, yeah, soldier class. And Plato, as he was a selfless philosopher, he said, then you had the rulers, and in Plato's scheme, uh, the rulers should be philosophers. Yeah, everything will work fine if I'm the king. Uh, what you say exactly? Uh, that all would be for the best if philosophers became kings, or kings became philosophers. Obviously, Plato wasn't becoming the king of Athens, so he fucked off to Syracuse, and he tried to educate the king, and tyrant fucker, in Syracuse, Dionysus II, I think. I think he was number two, the sequel. He tried to teach Dionysus II how to be a just ruler. And Dionysus II wasn't fucking having any of it. So Plato's little sojourn to Syracuse ended a ridiculous failure. Oh yeah, so everything we think we know about Socrates is just fucking Plato anyway. Yeah, it's like the Christians when they read their Bible about Jesus Christ, and obviously that was written long after the fact. Uh, where Jesus was walking around Bethlehem, and if he actually existed, which I'm inclined to think he did exist. Don't spend a lot of time thinking about Jesus Christ. Or any aspect of organized religion or spirituality, in which spirituality is also bollocks. So where were? Oh yeah, our peeps, good. Uh, you know, so we know, sort of. There's this conditional goodness. Peeps would be good if we explained what was good to peeps. Uh, if word. But you'll hear that used a lot when people talk about goodness, particularly the goodness of human beings. So peeps would be good if there were if there was no money. Then peeps would be good, or peeps would be good if there was no politics, no power, shit like this. Very, very kind of conditional goodness. They're not good. There seem to be a bunch of steamers. Sorry, a steamer is Hiberno English, Irish English, means cunt. Uh, so they're a bunch of cunts, but they wouldn't be if blah blah blah. So okay, okay, so they're good at heart, but that doesn't matter a fuck because in actual practice, their intrinsic goodness is smothered by reality, the reality of money, politics, power, fake news, whatever. You'll also usually then people kind of dovetail, and you'll hear them talk about peeps' ability to experience unconditional love, unconditional love, or affection, or fidelity, which is unconditional. You hear it all the time. It's parents tell their kids, I love you unconditionally, son. That kind of thing. I always, I always had a problem with the discourse because it seemed counterintuitive. Uh, and so I sort of relatively playfully, anytime I heard it, I'd always kind of, just inquire, oh, what the fuck you on about? Unconditional love. So your love for me has no conditions. There's nothing I could do to lessen or impair the love you hold for me. So I could chop off your fucking legs, barbecue them, make a sandwich out of them, and mock you for the duration. You'll still look at me, sort of through the tears of agony and say, still love you, boy. Uh, that's, that's not a fucking thing. That's not a fucking thing. And then, sort of the partisans of unconditional love, they're going, yeah, if you chopped off my legs and tormented me whilst eating a foot long consisting of my calf muscle, it would affect our relationship. I wouldn't talk to you anymore. I'd probably insist that you go to prison, but I'd still love you unconditionally. Okay. Essentially now it's just a fucking word. It's just meaningless. Sort of, you don't even have to speak to anyone, be anywhere close to them, have no relationship with them. You can still love them unconditionally, apparently. Um, again, there's no such thing as unconditional love, and nor should there be. It's insane. It's an insane concept, as is the concept of universal love. I love everyone equally. Really? Yeah, I'm not a massive fan. And I'm sitting down with my mate, and you go, oh, yeah, I'm fond of you, but I'm also equally fond of complete fucking strangers. There's Aristotle and Freud. They say kind of similar things, that if you love everyone, then you don't really love anyone. And it depreciates the value of love, of your love. Yeah, you could talk about Christianity too, loving your enemy, that kind of thing. We're not going to do that. I already talked about Jesus Christ one time. So yeah, you have kind of the conditional conception of good. We would be good if blah blah blah. And you have the kind of unconditional, like, unconditional love, and we're capable of, moments of unconditional affection, etc. Um, so, yeah, there's other conceptions. Um, Obviously, a conservative would say that the good is whatever has been historically conceived and institutionalized as the good. Essentially, it's what our parents thought, and that was historically transmitted to the current generation, and the current generation should give that conception of the good the benefit of the doubt, because it has endured, and its worth essentially is proven by the fact that it has endured. This conception of good has endured because it works. If it didn't work, it wouldn't have endured. This kind of thing. I say it's just an argument from tradition. There's multiple instances where traditions have been far from good. Don't need to list them out. If you have one active brain cell, you'll be able to immediately think of a million different situations where received conceptions of the good were anything but. Other conceptions of the good would be the good is whatever is not evil. It's the absence of evil. I don't know about that either. I don't know about that either. The Manichaeans, they refrained from setting good and evil apart as opposites. Their contention was good and evil marched together. It's kind of interesting. Maybe evil is the totalization of a particular conception of the good. Uh, maybe the Manichaeans had a point. Lovely quote by a chap. What's his name? Chernyshevsky. Probably mispronouncing that. Don't give a fuck. Chernyshevsky. I think that was him. What was his quote? A man of ardent goodness cannot but be a somber monster. We all know how fanaticism works. This even when you're in a group and you all together have a fanatical devotion to your preferred conception of the good, it can obviously lead to things that are not good, arguably evil. Like the meme, was it the Mitchell and Webster meme, where the SS chaps, the chaps in the SS are questioning whether they are in fact the baddies. Are we the baddies? So I don't think good and evil can be kind of separated like that, and oftentimes good and evil do march together as the Manichaeans posited. Fundamentally, the question, are peeps good? It's not even interesting. We talked about the different possibilities. Obviously, there's more. I'm not going to review the different social contract theorists' breakdown of Rousseau or Hobbes or fucking Locke. These little we catalyst utopia. I'm not gonna do that. If you don't want me to do it anyway, it's fine. I'm not gonna fucking do it. So there'll be none of that. Um, I'm just after losing my train of thought. Maybe that's long COVID. Oh yeah, the question is not so much whether peeps are good at heart, good if certain conditions are met, or good in an unconditional sense. The question is more: are peeps good for the planet? Yeah. What's our bearing on the biosphere? Are we a good influence on the biosphere, or are we a bad influence? So it doesn't matter a fuck if people are good or good at heart. Are they good for the planet? Come on. Yeah, it doesn't take a long time or intellectual gymnastics to answer that question quite definitively. Uh, Peeps might be good, but they're bad as fuck for the planet. I know somebody might jump in with the Carolyn quote, peeps are wrong, the planet will be just fine. Planet isn't just fine. The planet isn't great. Um, Fundamentally, I think the questions about anthropological optimism and pessimism that reveal more about the speaker than they do about the human condition. Uh, yes, we're all doomers. We've all presumably read The Road. Maybe we just gonna be arse reading The Road. We watch the movie with Viggo Mortensen, Aragorn. Yeah, so the Road is about father and a son after an unspecified global catastrophe. They walk across America in search of sanctuary. And at the end of the sorry, spoiler alert. Just in case you're one of the few doomers who hasn't read or The Road or watched the movie, time for mittens. Cover your ears. Spoiler alert. So at the end of the book, the old man dies. The dad dies, and he leaves his kid. I forget the age of the child, a very young child, a child born after the collapse of civilization. So fully conditioned in that kind of post-apocalyptic mindset. But then at the end of the novel, family emerge. A wee family, husband and a wife and a child and a dog, and they take the kid. They save the kid. They recognize that the kid's father has passed away, so they altruistically decide to adopt the kid. Now, in the book, it's arguably more clearly an optimistic ending. In the movie, it's more ambiguous. But just as a viewer, because or as a reader, because previously in the story it was all kind of cannibalism, and if you see a motherfucker, they want to eat you or they want to take your shit. That's the primary motivation of everyone in this post-apocalyptic hellscape of The Road, except this nice family who, in a world without food, have kindly decided to feed their dog. Uh, they didn't eat their dog. They fed their dog well for some reason. And then they kindly decide to adopt the wee orphan. Uh, uh, Again, sort of our determination as to whether peeps are good or bad at heart, arguably, reveals more about ourselves than the intrinsic condition of being a human peep. Um, but at the end of the road, it always seemed like a challenge to the reader to face their own perception of their species, and particularly their species in a time of crisis. We could go on. Who cares? Peeps are never unconditionally good. That's nonsense. Unconditional love is nonsense, and even if it's just, no, it's just nonsense. Universal love is retrograde and poisonous with respect to real love. People regularly act against their benefit, even though they know what is in their benefit. They will issue the good in favor of gratification or some other fucking indulgence. They're just a bag of bastards, lads. It's time that we realised that we're essentially a plague species. A plague species that's questioning our moral compass. Yeah, it's a fucking joke. Yeah, it's a fucking joke. So back to my point from a few minutes ago. Doesn't matter a fuck. Doesn't matter a fuck. We're bad for the world. Okay, even if we were sound to each other. Oh, sound is Hiberno English for lovely. So if someone is sound, if someone is lovely. So even if we were sound, still doesn't matter a fuck. Because we'd be just nice to our friend or, another normie. I have some of my pizza. I'm going to share with you because I'm good. And then they'll turn around and, I don't know, set fire to a tree. Or fucking stab a horse. Kid. I had to give out to a kid. Jesus Christ, I had to give out to multiple people recently. To give out to a kid for whipping a horse. It was his horse, but I didn't want to see him whipping the horse. And he got all fucking antagonistic about that. It's like, just stop whipping the horse, you fucking retard. I also had to give out to a grown man who said his German Shepherd and a family of ducks. The family of ducks were just hanging out, and this fucking retard with his German Shepherd. Sorry, it's not an Alsatian, it's a German Shepherd. Ooh, edgy. So he's there with his German Shepherd, and he just set the German Shepherd on this family of ducks. Or mallards. It's happy birds. And I also had to talk to him. A wee little fat round man in shorts with his fucking killer German Shepherd that he set on ducks for no reason. And that's people. That fucking steamer. He'll probably go home and sit down with his bastard children and he'll be sound to them. Oh yeah, have another slice of pizza, kid. Fucking, I love you unconditionally, child. And then they'll just turn around and be cunts. And that's human beings. as human beings. It doesn't take too long outside the paradigm, outside the matrix, to be able to look at most of our behaviors and go, we are fuckers. We are fuckers. And the idea that there's any screed of goodness in this plague stage species is absurd in 2024. It's fucking absurd. Oh, well, Ian, we've set up a soup kitchen in my city. Fuck off. Fuck off with your soup kitchen. Just fuck off. Even most people, when they try to be good, it's just grandstanding or self-aggrandizement. They want to be rewarded. Uh, uh, you know, it's my father, Doomer dad. He had a friend a few years ago, a childhood friend. I'm not going to mention his fucking name, but he was salt of the earth. No, he was a good guy. This guy, fucking sound. Normie's normie. They all loved him. He was one of these guys. He'd always give you advice. And, he'd always be sticking his oar in, giving you advice, and kind of subtly putting other people down. So, with me, my father is unconventional. He's an ex-hippie turned fucking doomer. He likes to have a drink. He likes to smoke a fucking joint. He doesn't give two fucks about stuff anymore because he knows we're fucked. So he might seem feckless in his ways, but I love him dearly. And this fucking normies, salt of the earth guy, you'd always go, oh, Ian, you have to be patient with your father. He means well. And I just kind of look at him going, yeah, fucking my father's awesome. Shut the fuck up, you fucking retard. What are you talking about? Why are you making problems? But it wasn't just me. He'd do it with other people and, sort of, again, bastion of the community. Would you believe? Turns out the same guy was a mad paedophile who was subjecting someone in his very near family to approximately a decade of horrific sexual abuse. But at the time, sort of, if you ask somebody, oh, what do you think of blah, blah? And they go, oh, blah, blah. He's sound. I think he even volunteers down in the Oxfam shop. Fuck off, lads. It doesn't work out well. None of this works out well for anyone. I don't think I even really covered that in sufficient depth. But I'm mindful of the time. I think the last two times I spoke, it's rabbiting on for over an hour. It's already 53 minutes gone. I don't know if I did justice to the subject. If not, leave a comment. Maybe I'll come back, have another nibble at the perfectly legitimate philosophical inquiry: are peeps good in 2024? So I will leave it there. Next time, maybe we'll talk about politics. Maybe we'll just have a quick review of politics. That should be fun. Now I think I'm going to take a wander, walk out the canal bank, looking for flying insects, and no doubt, witness something terrible, some act of wanton animal cruelty. But again, I promise you, if I do witness any animal cruelty, I will intervene as a matter of course. Doesn't mean I'm good. You could argue that's just self-interested. So, you're not being good. You just want to scream at a normie. And fundamentally, I do. I find it to be cathartic. And it is deserved. They are a bunch of cunts, and they need to be put in their place by doomers. And if they don't like it, that's fine. They can threaten me, and we'll dance. We'll have a monkey knife fight. Oh, God. Yeah. So we'll leave it there. Wherever you are, doomers, in the collapsing biosphere, I hope you have a splendid day, and I hope the normies where you are play ball. And if they don't uh, reveal your natures, have at it, doomers, have at it. Laters.